Hey guys, Becky here with another update on my long summer cardigan knit along. I have some exciting progress for you because it actually looks like a sweater. If you remember our last update, I was picking up the other shoulder, and now we have armholes. We've joined all of the pieces together. So I actually have the start of a sweater. You can see my academic hobbyist progress keeper there. That's actually where the underarms start. So I have an easy way to measure that along the back. You can see the gorgeous texture of this cardigan. Again, if you're new to my knit along, I am using Cascade Heritage Silk in gray and white, very original colors. And I have been working on this, since September, and it is now the end of January. Originally, I had wanted to be just about complete with this sweater by this time. Clearly that didn't happen. However, holiday knitting, holiday crocheting happened, so I am giving myself grace and just excited for the crazy amount of progress I've had the last couple of weeks. Fun story though. If you remember last time as well, I was recommending that you triple check, quadruple check all of your pattern notes before you pick up a project after having set it down for a little while, because I almost missed increasing at the armhole. Well, turns out I didn't read quite as well as I thought I did, and rather than increasing every 6th row as the pattern calls for on one side and every other row on the other, I was increasing on both sides every other row and had to take back almost a full inch, as I warned of in my last video. So lesson learned, listen to your own advice sometimes, right? I will share a link in the blog. There's a blog post that corresponds with our knit along, and that link will be in the caption below. But I'll share a link for the video that I used for picking up stitches before I frogged that inch. It saved me a lot of time rather than having to tink back stitch by stitch, and provided that lifeline so that I didn't go back too far and then have to pick up all those stitches later. So very helpful, but unnecessary work if I would have just listened to my own advice. So there's that. The other thing that I'm going to share with the progress that I've made so far is a photo, which hopefully will go right there. I am going to share, when I hold stitches, so basically the construction of this sweater is you work kind of the front part of the neck or the armhole, then you put that on hold and you work the other front, and then you join them all in the round so that now you're working, as I am, to create the whole width of the sweater. When I put stitches on hold, I try very hard to use a cable from my interchangeable needles. So I put stoppers on both ends, but leave a cable in the stitches. That way, when I go back to pick them up, all I need to do is exchange a stopper for that needle tip, and I'm good to go. I dread picking up stitches. Fun fact about Becky, I hate picking up stitches. So that's my way of avoiding it. For this particular project, it got a little crazy with so many different cables on the project at once. But when it came time to actually put all of those sections together and connect everything, it was smooth sailing. All I had to do was move my needle tip to each cable and knit those stitches right off the cable. No twisted stitches, no worrying about picking them up. So it may look a little crazy, but it was very efficient for me when I needed to join my sweater together. The other thing that came up while I was working on this section is, if you can see, there are some ends in the middle of a row, which I try not to do. And this one in particular, you can see just how frayed my yarn got. It happens. I have loved working with this Cascade Heritage Silk. It is not a bad yarn. It has not split on me numerous times. But this particular section, I think probably when I was winding it, it got a little bit frayed, and I just chose to keep knitting with it. I gave myself a little slack, then worked the next few, Had another little section there, which is why I think it was when I was winding. Kept knitting. I will just go back, snip that in two, treat it like a yarn tail, and weave it in, and you'll never even know it was there. You can see there's just a little bit of a gap there, a little bit of a gap there. That'll tighten right up when I weave in those ends. So no knots, no concerns there. I didn't want to have to completely detach my ball of yarn at that point. I probably didn't have my scissors close by, if I'm being honest. So that was my fix for that. And I'll share a link to our video on weaving in yarn tails that I just created to help you take care of that problem if you run into that situation. I may not do another update for a little while, as the next stage of this sweater is 22 inches, I believe, of the stitch pattern. Knitting even, no increases, so probably not much to share over the next while, but we've got some exciting things coming up at MFY, so I know everybody will be excited and busy with new things. Enjoy your time. I hope you're enjoying this sweater if you're knitting along, and thank you so much for being here.